Welcome back to Donington Park. Now we've seen the Dunlop VAG trophy in action, and now we're getting ready for the Dunlop Mk2 Golf GTi Championship. Now this is still very much a title that's up for grabs. So Jason Tingle and Alex Nuttall are the two that are really battling hard for this title, but there's still a little bit of work to do. So as the action is just about to get underway, let's go to Ben with the grid.
Thanks, Dana. Well, the Mk2 Golf GTi Championship never fails to entertain, and a thrilling race one has given us a grid looking like this for race two, with Tom Witts in pole position from Stuart Lyons, then Josh Johnson and Jason Tingle. Alex Nuttall, the first of the 8-valve cars, and well up the order as we get ready for the off here. The challenge of the Donington Park Grand Prix circuit awaits. The lights about to flash out and away we go. It's a good start from the bright orange car of Tom Witts as he leaps away from pole position. Also a great start from Josh Johnson, number 12 car. To the left-hand side of your screen as they sprint towards Redgate for the first time. Chris Bagley trying to gain a little bit of ground in number 23, the white car, to the inside of Redgate corner as they head through all contact, and it's Darren Drury who's fired off into the gravel trap, and Drury flips sideways. He should be able to recover from there. As heading down the Craner curves for the first time, it's Tom Witts who leads the way from Josh Johnson. Then a slight gap back to the next car along. That's Jason Tingle. He's got Stuart Lyons just in behind. Then Adam Harns comes under an awful lot of pressure from Chris Bagley as they come out of the old hairpin and then begin the long climb uphill through Schwantz and en route to McLean's and Coppice. Josh Johnson, who's been at the front of this championship for quite some time, trying to close it on. Tom Witts is all sideways. There goes Adam Harns, and well, that gave the marshal something to ponder. He gathers it up very nicely. He's still, though, got Chris Bagley all over his tail, and then just in behind him, it's our current 8-valve class leader. That is Alex Nuttall. Nuttall, who went so well in the first race. They head out of Coppice along the straight on towards the Fogarty S's. This is where it all gets a little bit tricky. The brakes, the car's closing up, just flipping over the curbs then for race leader Tom Witts. The rest of them all following through in a chain before they sprint on towards the Melbourne hairpin. Donington Grand Prix circuit, the final phase of the lap. A number of tight corners, but it does offer some excellent overtaking potential as they file out of the Melbourne loop. Nose to tail, sprinting on towards Goddard's and through to the completion lap. Recovering very well from that moment. Adam Harns now coming back onto terms with the tail of Stuart Lyons through the left-hander, the corner descending all the while. Oh, and a spin further back, it's Alex Nuttall, and there's been a little bit of an entanglement there with Robert Wheeler, and Nuttall rotates, Wheeler comes to a halt. It's a real shame as Josh Johnson just beginning to lose a little bit of touch with Tom Witts. He's slipping into the clutches of Jason Tingle. Nice shot there into the cockpit of Tingle's car. You can see him just looking very relaxed as he worked the wheel through Redgate, accelerating then through Hollywood down into the Craner curves. High-speed change of direction together with camber changes make for a unique challenge. And then the old hairpin, which is barely a hairpin at all. Instead, the cars need to carry as much extra speed as possible because it's uphill really all the way now until the exit of the Coppice. So Jason Tingle trying to close up onto the tail of Josh Johnson. Johnson, who started brightly, just slipping a couple of car lengths back from Tom Witts. We have seen time and time again in this championship that once a gap opens up, it is very hard to close it down again because to all intents and purposes, these cars are absolutely identical. Oh, and one sideways there. I think it was Chris Bagley in the background who was going completely sideways. Indeed it was. He's gathered up superbly well as it's almost 3 wide for third position. And the reason for that is a problem for Josh Johnson. Johnson slowing en route to the Fogarty S's. So Johnson, who started brightly, slips down to 5th. It means that Adam Harns moves up into 4th position, straight onto terms with Stuart Lyons. And the brakes into the Melbourne hairpin once more. So there was a Melbourne hairpin in the original configuration of the Donington Park circuit back in the 1930s. This particular iteration was added back in 1987 in advance of the inaugural motorbike Grand Prix here at Donington Park. So through Goddard's, a super scrap for third between Adam Harns, who's applying all the pressure to Stuart Lyons. Lyons in turn is still just about in the toe of Jason Tingle. Then we've got the slight gap back as pulling into the pit lane there. You see Josh Johnson heads pitwards, so disaster for Johnson as Chris Bagley busy defending. And and that is Dan Gibbs, who's come up very well from the back of the grid. Gibbs in the Elite Marketing Services back car, looking to just try and draw alongside Bagley as they head down through the Craner curves. Chris Bagley alongside, but I think Dan Gibbs, he tries to get his nose in front. Bagley takes a big bite of curb, but it's Dan Gibbs who's got the inside line for the old hairpin, and he should make that move stick. Indeed, that's exactly what happens. So the place gained for Gibbs. That's up to 5th place. Deere also into the pits and into retirement. That's Robert Wheeler. Well, we saw him getting all mixed up with Alex Nuttall a little bit earlier on. And that means this is the fight for the 8-valve class lead between Matthew Petts and Simon Tomlinson. Petts in the 17 car, just had number 14, Tomlinson. As the pair of them go side by side on the brakes into Goddard's. Tomlinson looks to the outside. Petts, though, has the car right where he wants it, which is in the inside line, but he may have just slid a little bit wide then on the exit. So that means as the pair of them accelerate on towards Redgate Corner, they're side by side. Can be deceptive here at Donington Park. The tight line into Redgate is not where you want to be because the corner really tightens on the exit, and therefore Simon Tomlinson, if he can get enough of a nose in front on the way, and he should get the advantage on the way out, but it's great stuff between the pair of them. They remain side by side, 3rd corner in a row, down through the Craner curves, pretty much close enough to shake hands then as they head into the left-hander, and Tomlinson now gets his nose in front of Matthew Petts. Lovely scrap between the pair of them, and this is what the Dunlop Mk2 Golf GTi Championship is all about. Close, competitive, clean wheel-to-wheel saloon car racing. So we're heading right into the closing stages. Jason Tingle is potentially, you could argue, saving the best for last, but he's now really coming back onto terms with Tom Witts. This has got just about 3/4 of a second in hand, or thereabouts, as the pair of them head into the Melbourne hairpin. Just a couple of corners remaining in the race. Has Jason Tingle got anything in his pocket for a bit of a lunge into Goddard's? That's probably what it's going to require. But Tom Witts has controlled this absolutely perfectly. He led away from pole position. Thereafter, he's been challenged, but he has never been headed, and he picks up the pace out of Goddard's for the final time, accelerates through and takes the checker flag. Jason Tingle runs him very closely, though, as still in class, the 8-valve class, there is plenty to race for. It's being led by Simon Tomlinson, but he has got the recovering Darren Drury on his tail. Drury running in a 16-valve machine, so there's no here for Tomlinson to overly defend his position, but hey, he's a racing driver, he's going to do it anyway as he runs alongside Darren Drury as the pair of them head towards Goddard's. Final time, Drury gets his nose in front to the outside. Tomlinson, demon braking, leaves it very, very late as the pair of them then sprint towards the checker flag. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and Darren Drury just gets his nose in front and takes the place by 15 thousandths of a second. However, all is not lost for Simon Tomlinson because he wins amongst the 8-valve runners. Fantastic scrap. Thoroughly enjoyable race then. Let's have a look at the final results. So Tom Witts victorious from Jason Tingle. Stuart Lyons completes the podium. The 8-valve runners, Simon Tomlinson victorious from Alex Nuttall and Matthew Petts. Unfortunately, disappointment for Josh Johnson and Robert Wheeler, encountering problems in the early stages. It's a hard weekend of racing, one that leaves the drivers with plenty to celebrate. Second place on the rostrum for Jason Tingle, and then a big round of applause for Tom Witts, our double race winner, as the champagne flies Donington Park.
I managed to make the break from the word go. I could see Jason the whole time in my mirrors and just sort of tried to manage the gap. He was closing at the end, but fortunately I made a mistake, he made a mistake, so you know it stayed pretty good, and just stayed consistent really, and just tried to put in some qualifying laps and look forward and go away. But yeah, really good weekend. You know, thanks to my dad, the car's been fantastic. It's just been getting better and better as the race went on, so yeah, really good weekend.
Obviously, congratulations on the championship. I see they've got the t-shirt ready for you. What does it mean to you to take that result today?
It means a lot to me. We've worked hard this year. The team, Vauxhall Racing's worked hard. Friends, family, everyone's been here for me. And like I say, I needed to come here just to get on the podium really. but I didn't want to just get on the podium, I wanted to win, but Tom outdid me there. He raced really well all weekend and he kept it consistent, so yeah, it was really good.
To be fair, I missed a couple of gears, then the first two got away, and I was driving around in third thinking, and then next thing I know, the guy in fourth caught me and we ended up with a bit of a battle, so I had to earn it, and just managed to, he passed me and I passed him back, so it ended up being quite a good race, but it was a bit uneventful compared to the one we had yesterday, which was a bit of a free-for-all really, but no, it's good, 4 podiums. It's hard to replicate that at the next race, I think, but we can give it a go.
It was a tough race, had a good start. Alex had a good start as well, but he got knocked on the corner coming back onto the start-finish line, and I sort of took advantage of it and tried to make a bit of a gap, kept it, maintained it. He got the fastest lap, which is one of the perils of being out front, really, not pushing as hard as maybe you should do sometimes. But it got a close race. There were 16 valves closing on me, so I just kept it going, really.
So just 2 races remain, and in the 16 valves, Jason Tingle building a little bit of daylight over Stuart Lyons, but that fight for second is going to go all the way to the last checker flag of the season. The same goes for 8 valve title honours, because Alex Nuttall and Simon Tomlinson separated by just 6 points, with Tim Cox in third.
Well, that's all the race action from Donington Park. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have, but we've got one more event still to go. Join us next time when we'll be at Alton Park in Cheshire. See you then. Bye-bye.